lot to talk about. Roger Simon, I want to start with Sarah Palin. I thought Senator McCain was rather striking in his comments today. On the one hand, he said he was surprised that she stepped down. How could he not be, given his record as a politician, as a senator, as a leader? Is this the same person he chose to be on his ticket?
I think it is the same person. If the Republicans were choosing a nominee today, I believe they would choose Sarah Palin. The Republican Party has collapsed like a star going nova to its densest core of conservative voters. Sarah Palin speaks to that core. Now, the grandees in the party, the poobahs and the mandarins, the elites, don't like her. She's not of their ilk. She is the skunk at their garden party. They believe, as some in the media believe, that the highest form of political skill and authenticity today is to flawlessly read a speech from a teleprompter that somebody else has written for you. That's not Sarah Palin. Look, she's not going to beat Barack Obama, but all she has to do is beat Tim Pawlenty, Bobby Jindal,
Mitt Romney,
Mike Huckabee, Mitt Romney. Are you saying that she couldn't beat Mitt Romney?
I think she could. And look, I'm strongly for her. I endorse her for the Republican nomination in 2012. I think she's got a real problem with Republicans. They have a survival instinct. And she said yesterday that she was maybe going to campaign for conservative Democrats. That's because a lot of Republicans don't want her to campaign for them. And that party ultimately, and you saw it with John McCain, you saw it with Bob Dole, they nominate by primogeniture. They take the next person in line. I think that's probably Mitt Romney. But I agree with you. She's got a big base, and I think she might win the nomination. I hope she does.
Senator McCain just said he agrees with her, that he thinks it helps her standing, it's in the best interest of her interests going forward. It's okay to resign.
Well, I think Senator McCain's in a difficult position. He chose her as his nominee, and he wants to be supportive of her and her family. I like many people, I was surprised. I was puzzled. She sought that office. I remember when I worked for Governor Bush, and he decided to run for re-election as governor of Texas. Even when he was being mentioned as a presidential candidate, he felt it was important to have that seal of approval, that re-election from the voters. And he was very honest with them and said, I don't know whether I will or won't run for president. I want you to make that as a factor in your decision. So I was surprised and somewhat puzzled. I think the weeks and months ahead are going to be very critical for Sarah Palin. She's got a lot of charm. I like her. She's feisty. She's a maverick. But there's a fine line between maverick and quirky. And so I think she has to be very careful that the next steps she takes are very thoughtful and that she really thinks them through before she takes them.
Andrea, before we hear from you, we have to see you in action. This is Andrea Mitchell live on the scene in Atlanta. Alaska. These are some of the still photos in your waders. By the way, most people don't know that you actually travel with fishing waders in your purse on assignment, and there you're in foot. But look at this. This was the orchestration on this small fishing village of Governor Palin to speak her piece. And look at this media scrum there during the fly fishing.
Photo op to end all photo ops.
Here is a question that you asked her about her future. Watch.
Can you imagine yourself running for president?
I don't know what the future holds. Can't predict what the next fish run's going to look like, much less what's going to happen in a couple of years. But my focus is on my state still, and it always will be, and my family and what is best for them. What is best for them is to not run for re-election and to avoid a lame duck a wasteful session in a final year of office.
Is that, this is the question I posed to Senator McCain, which is shirking from those fights the way you demonstrate leadership in the Republican Party?
I think that is her big flaw right now, because even in Alaska, even in her hometown of Wasilla, where people are enormously supportive of her, where people love her, they said, we're really disappointed because she quit. So that quitter label does attach to her. The other problem is, look, she's really warm. She was acting, I think, on behalf of her family, which were hurting, and she needed to do something about that. She was very deeply unhappy. She's got enormous charm, as Karen points out, and she's feisty. She's attractive. Lord knows she's attractive. But she has to have a coherent worldview to be the Republican nominee. And the reason why she was so rambling in that Friday statement and didn't really fix it in her interviews with many of us is that she's not deeply read. She hasn't thought through a lot of these policies. And you have to do that as a national candidate.